Hello Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Eden Zero, chapter 177. When we last left our heroes, the gang took a pit stop while the Eden Zero was getting repaired to that old water park, Ryuzetsu Land, for what promised to be a fun little fluffy adventure. Just having the gang hang out, see some swimsuits or whatever. It turned out to be a little bit more than that, as Shiki and Rebecca run into Labilia, being harassed by these guys who are... we find out she's kind of this washed-up star. She's no longer the big name she used to be. And also these guys are accuse her of being in a swimsuit for views, even though she's just at a water park. There's a bit of an implied rape threat. It's kind of uncomfortable for how light and fluffy Ryuzetsu Land is. That's all kind of averted when Shiki and Rebecca arrive, threatening violence, and then doubly thwarted once Holy arrives. And Holy then offers the hand of friendship to Shiki and Rebecca. We'll see exactly what her true goal is now, I think. But with that being said, let's dive right on into chapter 177, Holy Judgment. Our picture here is Happy in this Shogun's helmet, holding on to a ledge or something in a windstorm. We see a Moscow kite in the background. It's kind of fun. Chapter 177, Holy Judgment. We open where we left off with Holy talking to Shiki and Rebecca. She's sort of, let's be friends, I think was her last line. And Shiki questions joint forces with the government. But Rebecca calms him down. No, Shiki, this is obviously a trap. Don't let her fool you. Holy just tells Rebecca, oh, don't be like that. Will you at least hear me out? You want to defeat Ziggy, and so do we. Still, we can't talk here. Meet me at the rooftop lounge in 1 hour. With that, she turns to leave, leaving Shiki, Rebecca, and Labilia alone. So we'll see. We'll see how honest she is, because again, there is some room for skepticism here. Holy's a character we don't know a lot about. So I don't really know how to judge her at all right now. Anyway, Shiki and Rebecca watch her go. Labilia just sort of uncomfortable being saved by her old bullying victim. And Rebecca turns to Labilia, and then apologizes. Labilia, you okay? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get you wrapped up in this weirdness. Labilia sort of looks away and just says, Shiki has come to my rescue yet again. And Shiki looks at her. Something's different about you. You too, Shiki. You look more grown up now. And Rebecca and Labilia have this genuine kind of moment. Rebecca asks after her, how are you doing? I'm alright. And you seem to be doing well. So as I recall, it's been a while since we really talked about this, but wasn't there a bit of a character exposition bit way back at the beginning? Didn't Rebecca once say that she and Labilia started out friends before Labilia got so big and kind of turned on her? I vaguely recall that, but and if so, that definitely does kind of characterize Labilia here, as now that she's fallen, she's also kind of opening up to Rebecca again, which is kind of selfish of her, but whatever. Anyway, Labilia turns away. Now, if you'll excuse me, and she walks off. She's not comfortable here. But Rebecca calls out to her, wait, Labilia. It's been a while since we've seen each other. How about we get together to talk later? And Labilia stops there and just says, I have nothing to talk to you about. And with that, she leaves. Rebecca's just sort of stunned at Labilia here. Something's definitely happened to Labilia. On the surface, it seems to just be she's lost her fame. But I don't know. She seems she's very much more reserved now. She's not you might have expected the old Labilia to have lashed out at Rebecca for being bigger than her or something. But that's not really the Labilia we're seeing here. She's gone through some development, I think, over the past 3 years. Anyway, Shiki comments, on second thought, she's not different at all. Rebecca thinks, no, she didn't say even one nasty thing. That's not like her. I wonder what happened. And Labilia just we just have the shot of Labilia looking kind of glum. And then we cut to what I'm guessing is the rooftop lounge. With our main quartet all in attendance, it's really just, all we see here is Rebecca, Shiki, Homura, and Wise. Wise also put on an opened, Hawaiian shirt, just for funsies. Rebecca's also put on a shirt too. Don't know why they have, but anyway, that's not really the important thing. I'm focusing on the unimportant bits, I suppose. Wise looks around. Whoa! Who would have thought we'd find all this up on the roof? Homura also looks around. Just a place with an air of luxury. And Shiki reacts, awesome! And Rebecca chimes in, if I remember correctly, only the guests staying in suites have access to this lounge. Well, they do too, I suppose. Pino chimes in, Pino and Happy are also there, just sort of below the shot, I guess. And this is where we are to meet Miss Holy? And then Happy sees something in the water. Look, over there! And we see this, zh noise as something comes up, and it's Holy, who brushes her, hair out of her face. Oh, you're early. I'm so happy you came. And there's sweet Wise and dear Homura. And Wise, I talked last week about Wise being a bit more mature in his, lack of horniness, how he sort of both scolds Connor for sort of keeping, or sort of ogling Rebecca, and then also how he doesn't really react when Homura loses her top in the lazy river. But here, he sees Holy, and he's full-on horn dog mode. Woohoo! What a dish! And Homura is confused. Dear Homura? And Holy climbs out of the pool, and you must be darling Happy and lovely Pino. Please relax and make yourselves comfortable. As she's drying off, the gang is sort of staring at her, and she makes them the food. And Holy talks to them while she's cooking. I'm so sorry. I didn't think you'd be here so early. I haven't finished cooking. And Wise is still just full on horny mode. Don't mind us. Woohoo, nice backside. Okay, Wise. Alright. I see you. But Shiki's all serious. We didn't come here to eat. And Holy tells them, first I want to make one thing very clear. I was not in favor of naming sweet Shiki as one of the Erasion Seis Galactica. I wasn't opposed either. So we're seeing here again that the Interstellar is not exactly a united front. They're more united than the Galactica for sure, but they're not really they're not all always on the same page. You've kind of known that, but it's nice to see that even more. It's nice to see more of those distinctions shaded in. Anyway, Holy continues, which is to say, I acknowledge Shiki's strength. Your powers are on the same level as dear Elsie's and the rest of Galactica. And Shiki sort of acknowledges that, and Holy goes on, if we are to defeat Ziggy as well as the rest of Galactica, clearly working together would be most efficient. And Homer presses, but why would the Union Army? And Holy cuts her off. We, Erasion Seis Interstellar, are a special team organized specifically to defeat Galactica. We have no commander. We are authorized to act on our own individual judgment. And we see the Interstellar there. We still see Jaguar, who's been dead for 3 years. They have not really replaced him, which is interesting, I suppose. And Holy continues, ergo, we are free to team up with whomever we wish. Surely you don't believe everyone in the government is evil. In the same vein, I don't believe you are evil. And Shiki sort of acknowledges that, I'm assuming Shiki knows about Eraser's help during the Aoi War. But he points out, that's a good point. As Holy lays the food down, please help yourselves. And the gang sort of gets distracted from Holy's sort of big explanation of herself to really focus on the food. But I do want to talk about Holy's explanation. Because given that the Interstellar is specifically designed to defeat the Galactica, it's weird that even if they're free to team up with whomever we wish, it's weird that includes the Galactica themselves. I mean, I guess since they know the Galactica aren't, like, a team or anything, it's okay to team up with one of them to take down more of them, maybe? I guess? It's just a weird little bit. Anyway, back to the food. Y is, like, drooling. Whoa, that looks good. And Homer is suspicious. Is it safe to eat, I wonder? Oops, I said that aloud. Pino comforts her. I do not detect any toxic substances. And Shiki just, like, gulps as he's sort of excited. And Rebecca just digs in. Don't mind if I do. Yum! And happy, of course. Fish! And Holy turns to Rebecca. You're a hearty eater, aren't you, Rebecca, dear? And then she sits down. Now, shall we get to the main order of business? I assume dear Hermit and your crew are listening. I assume dear Hermit and your crew are listening as well. Pino's sort of stunned that she worked that out so easy. And Hermit just sort of comments, she saw right through us. And Connor and Sister are in full-on horny mode too. As Connor just comments, aye, another fine-looking wench. And, like, Sister, head on her hands, blushing. I'd love to invite her to my training room. Which I think is as big a confirmation as we have of, like, Sister being bi, I think. So that's an interesting little tidbit, that she's clearly attracted to Holy. But Laguna just tells them she's government. But Clean is sort of skeptical. That woman, she seems nice. Jean, however, I have my doubts. But Holy just tells the crew, my ultimate goal is to defeat Ziggy. But I have another objective as well. Is to track down Deadend Crow of the Irraciones Galactica and kill him with my own hands. And we see, I believe that's our first real shot of Deadend Crow, right? And what do we know of Deadend Crow already? Because I remember that both Deadend and Acnoella, I think he was called, both had like subtitles that we learned about back when we first like learned their names a while back. The Titan of Eternal Darkness, according to the wiki. Okay. So track down Deadend Crow of the Irraciones Galactica and kill him with my own hands. So yeah. Also, I raised the theory a while back, and I'm still not quite sure is right. That like each of the Interstellar have their own specific Galactica they're opposed to. Like we saw with Elsie and Justice, especially. And given how, like, fluid membership in the Galactica seems to be, I'm not quite sure that's correct anymore. But we do see that same kind of, perhaps, Elsie Justice enmity, again, repeated with Holy and Deadend. Perhaps, again, I'm basing all of this off a single panel or something. But still. Wise questions, Deadend Crow? And Homer, kill him? That is unsettling. Rebecca sort of questions, and you want us to help you? And Shiki just tells her, I won't help anyone with murder. But Holy stops him. Of course. I didn't mean to be so blunt. I can accept simply arresting him. He's sure to get the death penalty anyway. And Shiki just tells her, sorry, that's not our problem. I wouldn't be so sure. You see, Crow is on the planet Lendard as we speak. He has joined forces with Ziggy. Okay, so we're going to be seeing Crow pretty soon, I suppose, if he's on Lendard. We see Rebecca shocked. Homer questions, a Galactica with Ziggy? And Happy, what does that even mean? And Pino says, it makes no logical sense. And Wise picks up. Ziggy wants a world with nothing but mechanical life forms. He would never team up with a human. Which is an interesting thing. Because what we've already had, back in Universe 2, we had Connor, who was working with Ziggy, despite the fact that he was a human. So again, Connor continues to be this really weird point in the narrative. I'm really curious how Connor will end up being fleshed out. But Holy puts a stop to all of that kind of questioning. Crow is an android. Before Ziggy reawakened, he was considered the most dangerous android in the cosmoses. He instigated the bloody Atmos Day incident, which resulted in over 1 million casualties. And Shiki's never heard of that, given that he lived in a fucking isolated planet for most of his life. Bloody Atmos Day. And Pino looks up, searching, and then she, like, shudders. What? And Rebecca just questions, you mean the mass murder? And Holy stops her. That was the public story. But the truth is, but the truth is worse. And someone I knew got caught in it. That monster thinks of humans as his toys. And that's reason enough for him to join Ziggy. I will help you to defeat Ziggy. So I want you to help me to defeat Crow. Okay, so there's this weird bit, the truth is worse than a mass murder of a million deaths. I'm very curious what this Bloody Atmos Day is. Anyway, Homer turns to Shiki. What say you, Shiki? And Shiki stands. I need time to think about it. I'll go back to the ship to talk with my crew. And Holy tells him, you do that. But remember this. Whether your answer is yes or no, I will not see you as my enemy. Of course, that goes for precious little Elsie as well. I look forward to your response. And Shiki looks at her as he turns to leave. And then it's the creeps again. Don't know why we're back with them. Man, that Rebecca was a cutie. And those bazongas? That just ain't fair. So, what are the odds of running into somebody that famous? Never again, that's for sure, damn it. We're about to see someone else famous appear at Ryuzetsu Land, aren't we? And then they go right back onto the same creep shit they were on last week. The leader says, you know, maybe we should take this experience home. Chances like this are once in a lifetime after all. Sneak up on her so she doesn't notice. Get her next to a car and shove her blah blah gublug. And they start melting. Is this Laguna? But they're not really crying. The one lighter skinned member turns to Bang Boy. What's happening to you? Go back, eep, boy frost, ag. And then they turn into goo. And I think this might be something Holy did. I wonder if my spell is working its magic yet. And we cut to Holy in the shower. Let all the filth just melt away. And she has this kind of creepy grin. Oh, Shiki dear, I look forward to your response. So, something about that smile sets me off. I'm not quite sure she's as trustworthy as she's trying to come across. And until I get it, Shiki, I'll go ahead and use your powers for myself. I have no idea what that means. I don't have the slightest clue what that means. Like from what we saw with the Creep Boys, her powers are turning, I'm assuming, turning bad people into sludge or something? I'm not sure, like, I'm sure it's a bit more specific than, like, bad people, but that's what it seems to be right now. And so I'm not quite sure what that has to do with stealing Shiki's powers. Until I get it, I'll go ahead and use your powers for myself. Get it, the response. Which seems like Holy somehow has Shiki's powers? Anyway, back with the crew. Wise is still over the moon, but man was she a babe. And Homer just presses, how long must you gush over her? And Rebecca just sort of thinks, she didn't seem like a bad person, but... And Shiki picks up, I still can't tell. Everyone in the government just makes me think of justice. And Happy chimes in, anyway, I'm impressed you didn't immediately jump on the Friends bandwagon. You've grown, Shiki. I mean, yeah, I guess so. And Pino chimes in, although he did try to make friends earlier at the poolside. And just like that, someone approaches the gang, and it's Labilia. Rebecca, and Rebecca notes her, Labilia? Maybe I do need a few minutes after all? And Rebecca just tells her, sure, of course. I have something very important to say. And I absolutely must tell you before I die. And that's where we leave off. Okay. So, let's talk about that final line real fast. I absolutely must tell you before I die. So that could be a fake out on Machima's part. It could be a bit of a troll move. It's just like she has to tell her eventually, before I die, meaning we're all going to die one day kind of thing. But the implication is that she's dying? Or that someone's going to kill her or something? I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what that could be. It could be just like something as simple as like an apology. Sort of, I know I fucked you over for a long time and that's my bad or something. Or it could be plot relevant? I don't know. I have no idea what Labilia wants. There's also something about the like shaded eyes of Labilia, that top panel. The way her eyes are kind of covered in shadow. It's never a good sign to have your eyes be covered in shadow, I think. Just in general, when you see someone with like shaded over eyes in a manga, it's like red flags. So I don't know. And there's something about the maybe I do need a few minutes after all. It feels like a trap. I'm not sure what that trap is, who the trap is for, I don't think Labilia is actively trapping. I don't know. Like maybe, I judged earlier, maybe Labilia has grown somewhat. She's not bitter towards Rebecca for stealing her thunder. But maybe I was wrong. Maybe this is going to be like, Labilia wants revenge on Rebecca for becoming this big B-cuber. And I don't know. Maybe she's out to get Rebecca. I genuinely can't tell. Labilia is just kind of a mystery here. I'm not quite sure what's going on with her right now. And I'm sure we'll find out next week, of course. But I am very curious what exactly her deal is. Then we have that last Holy bit. Because the whole time, I was, like, largely believing in Holy. Almost. Like, okay, I can believe that, like, she has a grudge against Crow in the same way Justice has this grudge against Elsie. She's willing to team up with whoever it takes to fulfill that vengeance against Crow. There's also... Okay, this is very off topic, but I want to bring it up slightly, is that Shiki has this whole I won't help you with murder bit, which fits with his character. But the idea that there is a demonstrable difference between killing someone extrajudicially and killing them judicially is kind of nonsense, I think. Like, it's one thing to say Crow deserves it for whatever the Bloody Atmos Day thing is. But it's another to say, I won't help you kill him, but I will help you put him in jail so he can't be killed. Those are the same thing, I would argue. But, Shiki doesn't really respond to that death penalty bit, and he doesn't straight up agree to go for Deadend. So it's not really a point of contention yet, I think. But still, the thing I most want to bring up is that final Holy bit. What is she after? She seemingly turns the guys into sludge. But maybe... Could that be a red herring on Machima's part? I wonder if my spell is working its magic yet, apply to something she did to Shiki? Or to Labilia? Maybe she, because Labilia does seem weird here. Maybe Holy brainwashed Labilia. In that case, what happens to the creepoids? Because they melted. So someone did something to them, clearly. And if not Holy, then someone else is here. Unless Holy did the kill spell on them, and then did something else to Labilia? Or maybe she does to Labilia a little bit later, and Labilia feels that death coming, or something? So that's why she has this, I absolutely must tell you before I die. Maybe what she's saying is, don't trust Holy. Holy's about to kill me. Maybe that's it. I don't know. That last bit makes me super, super uncomfortable with Holy. And there's still that, and use your powers for myself. How is she using Shiki? She's going to use Shiki's powers until Shiki responds to her. It's just a weird bit. I don't know where exactly we're going with this. I don't know. I'm intrigued, don't get me wrong. I'm very intrigued by all this. But I'm also just, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But I'm excited to find out where exactly all this is headed. I mean, we're in for a time, I think. I think it's going to be a fun time. Going to be a good time. Yeah, I am hyped to see where all this goes. I just don't have the slightest clue where that is right now. So yeah, I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you'll enjoy the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe or, do whatever makes you happy, And as always, your life is your own, okay? Bye!